Marcus Johnson sat in his glass-walled office high above the city, the skyline glittering like a crown beneath him. At 40, he had everything most men dreamed of: power, money, prestige, but not peace. His gold pen scratched across contracts without hesitation. His watch gleamed under the fluorescent lights. Yet inside he was empty. His wife, Sarah, the love of his life, had died shortly after giving birth to their son, James, leaving him with a little girl, Mary, and a newborn boy he hadn't known how to hold. He buried himself in work instead of grief, leaving his children to be raised by others. That was when Veronica appeared, Sarah's old friend, stepping in with a smile that seemed like salvation. She had been the perfect solution, or so Marcus thought. She cared for Mary and James with warmth and patience, giving him comfort that his children had a mother figure while he drowned himself in business trips. For months, Marcus thanked his luck that Veronica had taken on the burden he could not carry. But one quiet evening, after a month-long trip, Marcus made a rare, impulsive decision. Without telling anyone, he drove home early. He imagined Mary running into his arms, James finally smiling when he held him close. For the first time in months, he felt warmth in his chest. The big iron gates opened to his suburban estate. Inside, the marble floors glowed beneath golden lights. But the house was far too quiet. Then came a sound that pierced him, James crying. Faint but desperate. Marcus froze. Then another voice, Mary, shaking, pleading, begging someone to stop. His heart nearly stopped beating. He crept down the hallway, and what he saw made him sick. Mary, just 6 years old, sat on the floor, clutching her baby brother, her dress torn, her small body trembling. James was red-faced from crying. Standing over them was Veronica, her red dress flawless, her voice cruel and sharp as glass. "Shut up. If you don't listen, I'll throw you both out on the street." Marcus's fury erupted. He stormed forward, placing himself between his children and the woman he once trusted. "Stop!" he shouted, his voice raw. He gathered James in his arms, awkward from months of absence, but desperate to protect him. Veronica's expression, flickered anger, quickly replaced with her sugary sweet mask. "Darling, you're home. They were misbehaving. I was just teaching them rules." She touched his jacket as if nothing had happened. But Marcus saw the truth in Mary's terrified eyes and James's frail body. Then Mrs. Deborah, the longtime housekeeper, appeared. Her eyes darted nervously between Veronica and the children. She looked like she wanted to speak, but couldn't. Marcus pressed his daughter gently. "What happened to your dress?" Mary looked at him, then at Veronica, too afraid to answer. James had faint red marks on his arms, finger marks. Marcus's blood ran cold. That night, in a quiet room, Mrs. Deborah finally confessed. She had seen it all: the starvation, the locked rooms, the punishments that lasted hours. She admitted Veronica had threatened her into silence, but she had secretly taken photos, bruises, marks, locked doors. Marcus's hand shook as he looked at the evidence. Proof. Real proof. The next morning, he called his old friend Richard Thomas, a lawyer. Within hours, Richard assured him they had a case, but warned him Veronica wouldn't give up easily. She'd fight, she'd lie, and she'd try to turn the story against him. Marcus swore he would never again fail to protect his children. Soon, the battle began. Courtrooms filled with lawyers, witnesses, and cold stares. Michelle Williams, the city's top defense attorney, painted Marcus as the absent father who abandoned his kids, and Veronica as the selfless stepmother who had disciplined difficult children. Veronica cried on the stand, her voice dripping with fake sincerity, claiming she had only ever loved Mary and James. But then came the turning point. Mary. Judge Angela Davis asked the little girl to testify. She looked so small in the witness chair, her legs not reaching the floor. but her voice carried the weight of truth. She spoke of hunger, locked rooms, James's endless crying, the pain of being grabbed too hard. When Michelle tried to twist her words, Mary stood taller. I know the difference between rules and being mean. My mommy gave me rules, and she was never mean. Veronica wasn't teaching us. She was hurting us. The courtroom fell silent. And then Veronica, unable to control herself, exploded in rage, screaming that the children were liars, that Marcus had abandoned them, that she had every right to discipline them however she wanted. Her mask shattered in front of everyone. The judge slammed her gavel and had her removed in handcuffs. In that moment, the truth stood clear. Judge Davis granted Marcus full custody, barred Veronica permanently from contacting the children, and referred the case for criminal charges. Marcus wept as he hugged Mary and James, finally feeling like a father again. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed, cameras flashing, questions flying. Veronica, escorted into a police car, shouted threats, even in handcuffs. But Marcus turned away, shielding his children. You didn't give up your life for them, he said quietly. You tried to destroy theirs, but they're safe now. That's all that matters. Time passed. Healing came slowly, but it came. Therapy, patience, and love helped mend what fear had broken. 2 years later, Marcus stood in the garden with his children, the same garden Sarah once tended, now filled with her favorite flowers. Mary, now confident and strong, showed James how to tie tomato plants, her voice steady and kind. James laughed, dirt on his cheeks, no longer the frail baby who cried in silence. Marcus had changed too. He worked less, stayed home more, and filled the house with warmth again. Saturday pancakes, bedtime stories, games of hide and seek the sounds of a real home returned. One evening, as he tucked his children into bed, Mary whispered, "Daddy, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for believing me." Tears stung his eyes. Thank you for being brave enough to speak the truth. You saved us all. The shadows that once haunted their home were gone. In their place stood laughter, love, and light. Marcus had found his way back to being the father Sarah always wanted him to be. And Mary had shown that sometimes the bravest voice in the room belongs to the smallest one. So, what do you think? Could you have been as brave as Mary, standing up in court against someone so cruel? Comment where you're watching from. Share your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe because stories like this remind us all that truth and love are stronger than fear.